Well. I mean, it's not like we didn't already know this deep down, and it's always only a matter of time. But what do you do when the overseers of corruption are corrupt themselves? A couple of days ago, I was notified of a statement on the IOPC website from Michael Lockwood, the then head of the police watchdog. I skim-read it, and it literally said that he was resigning for personal and domestic reasons. I didn't think too much of it, to be honest, which is going to teach me a very valuable lesson. And then yesterday, the day after, it was revealed that this statement was in fact a load of dog shit. Most of you will likely already know and have heard about the resignation. Lots of people have mentioned it already, and it's in all the newspapers, but because of who the IOPC are, it deserves a mention here on the channel too. Even if I did let myself down and not take proper note of the resignation when I saw it 24 hours before the mainstream media reported on it, and I would have put something out yesterday, but I was so drunk and so wouldn't have been ideal. In the statement on the IOPC website, it said, "It is with great sadness that I've decided to resign as Director General of the IOPC for personal and domestic reasons, and this will be effective from today. It has been an enormous privilege to serve as the first Director General of the IOPC and to have led the organisation for the past 5 years. I am proud of the progress we have made, and I am grateful to all our staff, the Unitary Board and external stakeholders for all their support. The Unitary Board will now work with the Home Office to put in place new leadership arrangements as quickly as possible." Now, we know that this is a load of tosh after reports have been coming out regarding the real reason behind the resignation. In fact, it wasn't even a real resignation. It was a last favour for keeping the public dumbed down and as ignorant as possible to the filth that permeates the establishment. Michael Lockwood took over as head of the Independent Office for Police Cover-Ups in 2018 when it changed from the Independent Police Complaints Commission to the Independent Office of Police Conduct. Personally, I think if any of the wording should have been changed, it should have been the word independent, because they're far from it. Lockwood was given the title of Director General of one of the more powerful organisations. Next to the Home Office themselves, I believe that the IOPC are the only other organisation able to criminally investigate chief police constables. Now, the reports coming out in the mainstream media are focusing on the fact he has now stepped down or resigned due to being probed over historic allegations, but that's not necessarily the case. Call me pedantic, but when you are given just two alternatives, just like Cressida Dick was, this isn't really a choice to step down rather than a forced resignation, which in effect is a dismissal, with a last-ditched bit of blue line privilege thrown in. And I think the fact that mainstream media are using the term resigned and stepped down is in fact quite misleading, and so I won't be using that term. There is currently no indication of what this or these historical offences are, but clearly they seem to be very serious. Serious enough for the Home Secretary, Suella Braverman, to dismiss him under the guise of a resignation. In fact, Braverman actually said that she had accepted Michael Lockwood's resignation as Director General of the Independent Office of Police Conduct after he was asked to either quit or be suspended. But even with the claims of historic offences in the media, he still claimed that he was stepping down for personal and domestic reasons. Could this be an indication of the kind of offence or offences he is likely to have committed? For example, could it be some kind of domestic abuse situation? That would certainly put it in the realms of personal and domestic. Of course, that is simply a pure guess based on the language used by Lockwood, and I doubt we'll find out for a while yet what the claims are anyway. The interesting thing here is that he hasn't, or at least doesn't appear to have been arrested. Now, this could be due to the incident not necessitating the need for his arrest, or it could again be a last-ditched blue line privilege extended to him for his role in keeping the chief constables in their positions while throwing the cannon fodder plod under the bus. Of course, along with the plod who have actually committed offences that warranted dismissal. Suella Braverman said in a statement, "I took immediate action upon being made aware that Mr. Lockwood was the subject of a police investigation into a historical allegation, and instructed my officials to ask him to resign or face immediate suspension from his role. Home Office staff are working at pace with the IOPC's Unitary Board to put in place temporary arrangements for the organisation's leadership. I'll do it. Give me the job." Now, for a minor offence that may have been committed years before he accepted the role as Director General of the IOPC. I can't see this being much of an issue. It might be a little embarrassing, but let's face it, it's nowhere near as embarrassing as the state of all the other government departments or police and law entities, so this must be something with some considerable bite to it. Whatever the case may be, I'm now wondering who the hell will investigate the investigators when the investigators themselves have now been proven to have been led by someone who was not fit for purpose. Don't get me wrong, we all make mistakes in life and we have to live with the consequences of those mistakes. I myself was arrested for growing weed some 7 or 8 years ago. Haven't done it since and I've got no intention to, but I own my mistakes. In fact, if you go back through all of my 2,000 plus videos, you'll probably be able to piece together a better criminal record than the police have on me, because I own my shit and don't try to hide it. But simple mistakes such as that shouldn't prevent me or anyone else holding a position of trust and authority, providing that we own our shit and don't try to hide it. Michael Lockwood, however, in order to be given this ultimatum, which, whatever way you look at it, is a dismissal, must have done something far worse than a simple low-scale summary offence. It is now, of course, a waiting game to find out what he actually did. And from now on, I won't simply dismiss any report because on the face of it, it doesn't look particularly interesting. More updates on this story to come.